So I'm just going to say, I mean, I thought that was a fascinating set of talks this morning. I'm sorry about the uh, technical glitch earlier on, but we still, in the end, had a cracking talk from Craig, which was a masterful link, I thought, between the biodiversity crisis and the climate crisis. And an index of two measures of human impacts on the planet and how our data can be absolutely fundamental to helping government to understand those issues. But I still think we need the equivalent of GDP rather than lists of species on ecosystem functionality, for example, to say whether the conservation and climate mitigation efforts are actually working at an ecosystem scale. And that needs quite a lot more thought. I thought David Roy's presentation on the evolution of citizen science or community science taught me a lot. There were things I simply didn't know, and I didn't realize how quickly the field has changed and is changing. And the amazing depth and breadth of current recording schemes. I greatly enjoyed that. And I thought Lisa's quick, super clear vision of the National Biodiversity Network's future was great. Those three initial major presentations taught me a lot, and I'm very grateful to all three of them. And then the four we've had after coffee, Mike Morris, Oliver Grafton, Rona Sinclair, and Claire Blancow, just what it's like at the coalface, basically. And the work and effort and time that people put into all this amazing data sets of data and the many facets of what we do is amazing. I'm not a particularly good at the technology of this stuff. I was hugely impressed by the scale, depth, and breadth of what was going on. And I'm not because it's more or less suddenly become accessible and new. I think the potential for environmental DNA sampling is incredibly exciting, and I've been following a bit of that recently in another role that I have, and I thought that was particularly exciting. As a new direction, whereas it's all, everything we do is important and exciting. So I enjoyed this morning. Thank you to all the speakers. It was really a very stimulating, and to the technical team for keeping us going through, I think, what could have been a very tricky session. With problems, and I'm very grateful to the technical team for hanging in there and sorting it out, so that we in the end had an extremely good and valuable morning. Thank you. Before I close, I'm delighted to be able to announce this year's honorary membership of the National Biodiversity Network, a great honor for people who've made a major contribution to the NBN. And this year's award is being presented to somebody who's one of the first editors of the Vascular Plant Red Data Book in the UK. And she's been county recorder of the Botanical Society of the British Isles, BSBI, and on Mull, on the island of Mull, Coll and Tiree, since 1996, including working on a comprehensive flora of the area. She was an honorary secretary for BSBI for many years before becoming president in 2019. And in her professional life, she's worked as the Biological Records Centre, the Nature Conservancy, English Nature and Scottish Natural Heritage as on committees and bodies and councils. She also had a fellowship at the Parliamentary Office of Science and Technology and a Churchill Travel Fellowship, and she's worked and she's worked, now I've got to try and say this very carefully, it's an Irish name, she's worked for An Foras for Bartha in Dublin. I probably said that horribly wrong in Irish Gaelic, and helped to set up the Working for Peace group in Ireland and ran an interdenominational youth group. A very rich, varied and important career in biodiversity monitoring. So I'm delighted to announce that the honorary membership of the NBN Trust in 2021 is being given to Lynn Farrell. Now, unfortunately, Lynn can't be with us, but she did send a brief statement to say, I'm very pleased to have been nominated for honorary membership of the NBN Trust, which is much appreciated. Since working in the Biodigital Records Centre at Monk's Wood in the early 1970s, I've realised how important it is to record species and events and to ensure that the records are entered into the various systems. All this information is crucial in helping to build up national and indeed international perspectives. Everyone can participate by observing and sending in their local records. It's easy and it's enjoyable to do so, and important for informing the future protection and survival of many species, including ourselves. Thank you, Lynn, for that. Congratulations on your honorary membership of the NBN Trust. If I knew how to put a clap function on, I would, but I don't know how to do that. So with any more ado, I will draw this morning's proceedings to a close.